Hi, welcome back. In this video, we'll learn about some key points for testing mobile applications. That is, as a QA, what are the important points that QA needs to know for testing mobile applications? Okay, so QA must have latest information or knowledge about mobile platforms. Okay, I'll pause the video for a moment and I would like you to think about the widely used mobile platforms. Okay, so I think you might have thought about the same, and it is quite common among people in today's world. So the widely used mobile platforms are Android and iOS. Okay, so I hope you know this. So as a QA, it is your responsibility to know which are the widely used mobile platforms. In today's world, it is Android or iOS. In future, it might be Windows or Java-based devices. They can come up. Okay, so you should be having the knowledge about all these kind of mobile platforms. Now let's see the usage statistics worldwide because as a QA, it is necessary for you that before you start testing any kind of mobile application, you should be knowing the statistics. Okay, what is the which platform is used widely in the market? So the usage statistics worldwide says that Android is used around 70.8%. That is the market share of Android is 70.8%, and iOS is 28.5. That is followed by Samsung. Okay, so this clearly shows that when we create an application, it has to be created for both the platforms. So you might have to test the application on both the platforms. You can ask the developers that for which platform we have to test it. If they say that you have to test it on both the platforms, okay, then you have to test on Android as well as iOS. But if they say that they have made the application for Android only, then you have to test it on Android. But it has to be between Android and iOS because it both Android and iOS compromises of 98% of market share. Okay, so you should be having these statistics. Now let's see the usage statistics in US. Okay, so in US the statistics changes. In US, iOS is widely used. That is 57, almost 57% of market share is with iOS, and 42.64 percentage of people they use Android. So if the application is made for specific to that particular country for the people of that country, then it is necessary to create the application in iOS, and as a QA you should be testing on iOS. But again, it depends what the developers uh, give instructions that you get from the developers. Okay, now let's see Android OS statistics. Now why this is important? Let's say the developer gives you an application to be tested on Android. Okay, then on which Android OS you will test the application? You will just test the application on any random operating system? The answer is no. Why? Because you should be knowing the statistics. Just like in web browsers, you should know which is the latest browser version. In 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 the case of mobile, you should be knowing the latest operating system statistics. Okay, so the Android OS statistics says that Android 13 is widely used. That is 33.05 percentage market share is with Android 13 Android OS. Okay, that is followed by Android 12, that is 19.63. Okay, now let's take an example. You have a mobile phone, that is an Android phone, that has Android 9.0 Pie version. Okay, and the market share of Android 9.0 Pie version is 7.29. So would you test the application on Android 9.0? If yes, then you are committing a big mistake because when you get any mobile application to be tested, you have to see what is widely used Android OS. Okay, if the application is specific for Android, then you need to see which operating system is widely used. In this case, that is as of now, Android 13 has 33% of market share. Okay, so you should ask developers and management to provide Android 13 12 and Android 11 because it compromises market share of 33, 19.63 and 9.36 percentage respectively. Okay, so you should be testing on the latest operating system or the operating system that is widely used. Okay, so that is where your knowledge helps. Otherwise, if you just test on any operating system which you have, then it will be a big mistake because application might work differently on different operating system. Okay, so the best way to decide is to test on the operating system that is widely used, which has the biggest market share. Similarly, for iOS, let us see the statistics. For iOS 16.6 has the market share of 41.44 percentage, and for iOS 16.5 it is 19.07. So you can go through the statistics, and whichever iOS version has the highest market share, please test the application on the same. If you don't have, you can get it from the developers or from the management. Okay. Now, while testing application on mobile, you should be aware of the life cycle of an application. Okay, so the mobile application has a life cycle like pause, stop, resume, lock, and unlock. So you need to test all these scenarios with the mobile application. Now, what is it? Let me give you an example. Say you are playing a game that with playing a car racing game, okay, and it has 10 laps. Okay, now you are playing the game and you have completed 7 laps and only 3 laps are remaining. Okay, now while you are playing the game you get a phone call. Then what should happen? Should your application crash? Should your application should restart? No, you should pick up the phone. You should talk for a while, and when you close the call and when you cut the call, uh, after that your application or your game should start from where it was stopped. Okay, so usually these things are handled by most of the developers, but it is your responsibility to test such scenarios. Or say there is in another example, you are playing a game or any kind, you are using any kind of mobile application, and suddenly you press lock button. Then what happens? If you unlock, your application or your game should start from where it was stopped. Okay, it should not happen that application gets crashed or you have to restart the application. If that is happening, then it is a bug and you have to file it. In short, you have to test scenarios like getting a phone call in between, or when you lock or unlock the screen, mobile screen, or if when you kill the application. Okay, so when such things happen, you need to make sure what happens with the application, or you need to suddenly switch on and switch off the internet and see what happens. Okay, so it is necessary for you to check all these scenarios. Okay, so that is what we called as testing from mobile app life cycle perspective. Okay, so you have to test all these things. As an exercise, you can just check one thing. Open YouTube. Okay, open YouTube and play any song or anything. Okay, and then lock the phone and then unlock the phone and see how it behaves. Okay, or maybe while you are listening to a song on a YouTube, uh, call it from some other, another number and see how it behaves. Okay, or try to switch on and switch off internet. Try to fluctuate the internet and see how it behaves. Okay, so you have to test all these scenarios in all kind of mobile applications that you are testing. Like you're using the app and suddenly you press the home button. Okay, so the application goes in background, or you pause it, you stop it, you lock the button. Okay, you switch off the internet. So all these kind of scenarios, it is necessary for you to test. Okay, then you also need to test on multiple device screen resolution. Now different mobile device has different screen size. Okay, 5.1, 5.5, 6-inch device. Okay, so you need to test user interface, UI of the application when you are working with different kind of screen resolution. Okay, so also test your application on multiple kind of screen resolution. If you want to get the detail of which resolution is used widely in the market, you can take developers' help, understand it, and then you should be testing the same. Okay, so these are the things that you should keep in mind. Screen orientation. Now, with mobile devices, when you hold your device vertically, it is called as portrait mode. Okay, and when you hold your device horizontally, it is called as landscape mode. Okay, so say you are playing a game, so you can play the game in portrait mode as well, and when you switch it to the landscape mode, okay, that is the horizontal mode, you can also play the game. You can try it out with application like YouTube. Okay, when you play when you are listening to an uh, watching any video in the portrait mode, it has different UI. But what happens when you change the mode to landscape mode, you see some other kind of UI. Okay, so you need to see how the application behaves when it is in portrait mode and when you switch it on to landscape mode. Okay, so in that case, if you find any discrepancy or the user interface is not good, then you can report it to the developer. Okay, so just to summarize, what you need to know while testing mobile applications. So you should be knowing the widely used platforms in today's world. It is Android and iOS as of now. That is as of 2023. Then you should be knowing the Android and iOS statistics worldwide, which device is widely used. Then you should be knowing the operating system statistics, that which operating system is widely used. And please make sure that you test on the operating system that has maximum market share. Okay, then you should be aware of testing the life cycle of mobile application. Okay, that is start, stop, pause, lock, unlock, pressing home page, internet fluctuation, phone call coming in between, and so on. Okay, so you need to test your application from all this perspective as well. Okay, then test it from device screen resolution aspect. Okay, you should get this information from the developers, or maybe you can search it online that which screen size is widely used, and then you should be testing the application on different screen resolution. Okay, and the last thing is about screen orientation, how the UI looks when your application is in portrait mode, and how it becomes when you switch it to the landscape mode. Okay, so you need to see consider all these scenarios for testing mobile applications. I hope it is clear and you have liked the video. I'll see you in the next lecture. Thank you.